Back to the violence of the riots, a dozen now dead, including 6 African Americans, more than 13,000 arrested nationwide. And now this, Attorney General William Barr now says federal authorities have arrested 51 anarchists directly linked to rioting and looting. They're opening up cases against leaders of Antifa. Let's welcome the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Alveda King joins us. Thanks so much for coming back, Dr. King. Your reaction to Antifa, looters and rioters assaulting cops, can they steal this moment of unity for people who are trying to unify and get change without violence? Can they do it?
Liz, I am following social media. I'm hearing from people. I'm on prayer calls. One of my colleagues, Brian Kemper, was in Ohio a couple of days ago, and I prayed with youth in Ohio. My goddaughter was out in Minneapolis, Angela Stanton King. We prayed in the town square in Atlanta with people. So the prayerful people, the peaceful people are mounting and standing. I watched the memorial service today, and George Floyd's brother continues to call for peaceful resolution. Martin Luther King Jr. said that violence is immoral. It's unreasonable, it doesn't work, and it certainly is disrespectful for people like Antifa to come in and others. I've been seeing clips from people in New York saying, how can you come into my city, burn my property? The officer that was shot trying to protect someone's store, and it's just terrible. However, I don't want people to give up. We need to still have hope and still unify, and I'm sure we can do it.
So reports are coming in about 1 out of every 7 people arrested in New York City came from out of state. I mean, we're hearing reports that criminal anarchists are doing coordinated command and control of violent looting, setting up supply chains of rocks and bricks, of baseball bats and metal poles being dropped off at specific locations where law enforcement is not. They're using things like walkie-talkies. Dr. King, we haven't seen this before. It reports in St. Petersburg, Florida, that members of a bomb team found mortars in bushes in the downtown area. Dr. King, we haven't seen organized anarchy like this before in our country. We're at a new moment here in America, Dr. King. What's your reaction?
Liz, I'm 70 years old. It's not necessarily a new moment. In the 1960s, we had outside agitators with the Molotov cocktails, throwing and burning and looting. And my dad stood up on the car, A.D. King, when our home was bombed in 1963, and he said, wait a minute, if you need to hit somebody, hit me. I'd rather you go home and pray. My family and I are okay. And so the people who lived in the community began to calm down. And you could see the outside agitators for what they were. And they were actually run out of town. So I'm seeing people stand up to these agitators. It has not happened in a very long time, but it did happen in my lifetime. But we overcame with prayer.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
We did.
Yeah, that's the key. So it's now we're seeing the people who are peaceful standing up more and more. What I meant was that Antifa is more organized than ever before. The sheriff of Sacramento County is talking about how organized they are. Let's listen to him.
Okay.
They are very organized. They use intelligence. You know, it's a war of intelligence. They're trying to figure out what we're doing. We're trying to figure out what they're doing. They're resupplying rocks and bottles. They're moving their protesters from place to place. They're using encrypted communications. They're staging large numbers of folks in places and then just producing them all at once, going down a street. So again, this is really, these sort of tactics and this organization is really unprecedented here in Sacramento, which is why I think it was very important to call in the National Guard, who now are assisting us here in Sacramento, the city and the county.
Dr. King, you have always shown such dignity and courage and integrity. You have such a powerful message. If you had Antifa sitting across from you, what would you say to them?
Enough is enough. You're bullies. You must stop. We're going to stay in. We're going to pray in. And Antifa, you and your kind have to stop and leave our communities.
Dr. Alveda King, you're always great. Will you come back? We love having you on the show.
I'd love to come back, Elizabeth. Thank you.